Karen's laugh was a hyena's cackle, sharp enough to curdle milk. She stood on my uncle's porch, waving forged deeds like a dictator's flag, smug as if she'd already won. The land won 60 acres of rolling Tennessee hills. My uncle's legacy wasn't hers to sell. But Karen, the HOA's self-appointed queen, didn't care. She'd bullied her way through our small town of Willow Creek for years, her bloated ego matched only by her garish wardrobe. Today, she'd crossed a line, and I, Nathan Carver, the sole heir and a federal land agent, was about to bury her in it. It started 3 months ago when Uncle Amos died. He was the last of the old guard, a man who'd tilled this land since Nixon was in office. His will was clear: every blade of grass, every oak, every creek on those 160 acres went to me. I'd grown up here, fishing in the streams, learning the land's secrets. But I'd been away, working for the Bureau of Land Management, chasing fraudsters who thought they could outsmart the law. I never imagined the fight would follow me home. Karen, though, had other plans. As head of the Willow Creek HOA, she'd terrorized the town with her clipboard and her sneers, finding people for untrimmed hedges or unapproved mailboxes. She wasn't just petty. She was predatory. When Amos died, she saw opportunity. The land wasn't even part of the HOA's jurisdiction. It was outside city limits, but Karen didn't let facts stop her. She'd forged deeds, claiming Amos had sold her the land before his death. She'd already pocketed $200,000 from a shady developer, promising to turn the hills into a strip mall. The woman had no shame, just a calculator where her heart should have been. I got the call from Mrs. Delaney, the town's unofficial historian and my uncle's neighbor. "Nathan, that witch Karen's selling your land," she hissed over the phone, her voice trembling with rage. "She's got papers. Says they're legal. They're not. I know Amos. He'd never sell to her. I was on a plane from D.C. within hours, my badge in my pocket and a fire in my gut. Karen didn't know who she was messing with. When I arrived in Willow Creek, the town was buzzing. Karen had rallied her HOA cronies, a trio of spineless yes-men who nodded at her every word. She'd set up shop on Amos's porch, holding court like some feudal lord. I pulled up in my rental truck, dust clouding the air, and saw her there, floral dress straining at the seams, her face a mask of smug superiority. "Well, look who's back," she sneered, eyeing me like I was a stray dog. "Too late, Nathan. This land's mine now." I stepped closer, keeping my voice low. "You're holding fake deeds, Karen. Amos never signed anything." Her eyes flickered, but she doubled down, thrusting the papers at me. "These are notarized. Boy, run along." The crowd, farmers, shopkeepers, even the local sheriff. Ellie watched in tense silence. I could have arrested her on the spot, but I wanted her to dig her own grave. I spent the next week digging through records at the county clerk's office. Karen's forgeries were good, almost professional, but they had flaws. The notary's seal was outdated, and the signature didn't match Amos's scrawl. I cross-referenced land surveys and found discrepancies in the property lines she'd claimed. Meanwhile, Karen paraded around town, bragging about her deal. She'd already spent the developer's money on a new SUV, flaunting it like a trophy. The town seethed. Old man Tucker, who'd lost his orchard to her HOA fines, spat every time her name came up. "She's a leech," he growled. "Sucks the life out of everything." The confrontation came at the county courthouse, a squat brick building where disputes like this were settled. I'd called a public hearing, using my federal authority to freeze Karen's deal. The room was packed, farmers in flannel, retirees clutching coffee mugs, kids sneaking in to watch the drama. Karen strutted in, flanked by her HOA goons, her chins wobbling as she scoffed at the crowd. "This is a waste of time," she declared. "I own that land fair and square." I stood, holding Amos's original will and my badge. "Karen, you forged those deeds. The notary seal is from 2018, and the signature's a fake. I've got the real documents, and I'm the sole heir." The room gasped. Karen's face reddened, but she wasn't done. "You're lying," she shrieked, slamming her fist on the table. "You're just jealous because I'm making this town better." The crowd erupted, shouting her down. Ellie, the sheriff, stepped forward, her hand on her holster. "Settle down, Karen, or you're leaving in cuffs." I laid out the evidence, the mismatched surveys, the forged signature, the developer's shady wire transfers. Karen's bravado cracked. She stammered, claiming it was a misunderstanding. But the crowd wasn't buying it. "Mrs. Delaney stood up, her voice shaking but firm. "You've bullied us for years. Karen, you fined my grandson for flying a kite. You're done." The room roared in agreement. Then came the kicker. I'd traced the developer's payments to an offshore account Karen controlled. She hadn't just forged deeds. She'd committed wire fraud, a federal offense. I nodded to Ellie, who read Karen her rights. "You're under arrest for fraud and forgery," Ellie said, snapping on the cuffs. Karen's screams echoed as she was dragged out, her HOA cronies slinking away in shame. The crowd cheered, a wave of relief washing over Willow Creek. But the story didn't end there. The land was safe, returned to me as Amos's heir. But Karen's damage lingered. The developer backed out, but the town's trust was fractured. I stayed to rebuild, turning Amos's land into a community trust, no strip malls, just fields for local farmers and trails for kids to roam. Karen, she faced trial, her empire of fines and forged deeds crumbling. Last I heard, she was selling her SUV to cover legal fees, her cackle silenced by a cell block's echo. The lesson wasn't just about Karen's fall. It was about community, about standing up to bullies who think they're untouchable. Willow Creek learned to fight back, to protect what mattered. And me, I learned that home isn't just land, it's the people who fight for it. Karen forgot that. I didn't. The end.